performance of the chef. Oh, he was so glad that he had an emergency roadside service with Geico. And since they saved his bacon, he presents to you a bacon help Monday.
Let the game
Hey, mate, look, I don't need special treatment. I'm just happy to eat it. You're too humble, Mr. Gecko. Which is why we also present to you, and I don't need special treatment. Roasted grilled cheese. Now we're talking. Yes, we are.
We are live at the Positive Family Network. As I said, I was going to make everything on my eBay page 50% off. And that is what I am about to do. Right niggity now. Everything at my eBay page is going to be 50% off just because you are here. I'm doing it right now. Everything at my eBay page will be 50% off for my Positive Network fans. If you're just joining, this is the Positive Network, and I am Louis Leach III, aka Kareem Abdul-Rahman. Every time you see me watch the game. It's 7 up. 7 up. 77. I got Miami. I put $5 on Miami, but since they were the underdog, I get $24 if they win. They just let Buffalo walk right down the field on it. What I'm doing right now is going to my eBay page and making things 50% off, and I have to get a discount code, which I am going to give to you, my Positive Network family. If any of you have been with me all day, thank you. And people that don't know or not in the know is saying, how the hell have they been with you all day? You just came on live. And some things better if somebody else tell you other than me. Motherfuckers wanted to send me to the crazy house. I just let somebody else tell you. Trust me, more people than you know. Let somebody else tell you. No, I'm not local. Unread memory messages too. Eric, about the ratchets. Interesting that you could not manage any response except no response. I see you once again relisted the ratchet socket kit that I already paid months ago. Okay, this Eric person, eBay canceled their complaint because they got their thing. And then they tried to come to me and act like they didn't get their thing, so they could try to get a free thing or some money with it. I don't know. Here it goes right here, eBay, with that particular case with Mr. Aaron. We reviewed this case and have closed it without any refund to the buyer. The case will not affect your seller performance. Any feedback left for this transaction will be removed. We received tracking information that shows the item was delivered to the buyer's address. And it was a ratchet set, a nice ratchet set, and I gave them a really good price on it. The case was opened on September 5th. It was closed 6 days later on September 11th. They tried to say that they did not receive their package. These are the type of things that happen at my business. This is my business. And people are trying to interfere with my business. As you can see, I am not local. I am no local. Gift card. I'm looking for discounts. Discounts. Let's see, coupons. I'm looking for coupons. Okay, to selling. I know you can get coupons because I saw it before. I never had a really reason to use it, but I do now. It's advertising, reach even more buyers, bring even more interested buyers to your listing by promoting on eBay, off eBay and Apple. I'm looking for coupons for my Positive Network fan, 50% off. The eBay page is the same. Workbound Publications is the eBay page. Give me a minute so I can find where these coupons are. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay, discounts. Let me try this one. Okay. Okay, these are 5 things. One of them is that I have these things that right here that I'm naming. I have multiple of them. I got them in I got a lot of them. Got a 2-piece solid seat cover lifter, brand new, mini sweep compact dustpan and brush. Maybe I should show you what it is so you can see. What up, people? This is. He's got a toilet seat cover lifter, mini sweep compact dustpan, another dog bone, 12-piece screwdriver. That's this. But I can show you all of it. And the clean color facial cleansing kit. That's what I was talking about earlier. The clean color facial kit. Okay. The things that I'm giving 50% off of from my Positive Network family. First up is 2-piece solid seat cover lifter. That are these. These are good for so you don't have to touch a toilet seat. Not in your own house, but somewhere else. You don't have to touch a toilet seat. These are toilet seat lifters. Right now, these are priced at. Wait, let me do the 50% on first. Give me 1 second. Let me try to get that 50%. Okay. Right, cat a lot. God damn it, cat. Create a coupon. Subscribe to eBay stores to access marketing tools and much more. Review plans. Now they tell me I have to buy an eBay store to make a coupon. Okay, $4.95 a month. And let's see. Always gonna fucking cost. $4.95 a month. Just to give y'all 50% off, I will pay it by clicking submit order. I acknowledge and agree to the following. I agree. You have successfully subscribed to the starter store. Okay. Now I have a starter store, so let me see if I can go make coupons. Discount. Create a discount. Coupon. 50% off. 50% off. And I'm going to put an end date at from October today, September 18th, today until, yeah, I don't know, let's say Christmas, or Christmas Eve, just in case you see something that you might want. The sale will end, this code will expire on 11:59 p.m. on December the 24th, 2025. This code is don't the fuck do it. Let me see if they let me use this code first. Hold on. Before y'all go running with that code, let me see if they let me do it. Let's see. Price range. Conditions, not all inventories. Add category. Okay. Alright, they only gonna let me do it by categories. Let's see. Select categories, actually discount, books and magazines, cell phones and accessories. Let's see. I got pet supplies. Okay, so that's one. Okay, it's going to be about 5 things altogether. Okay, Positive Network family. The coupon code is don't the fuck do it. You can use your coupon code with about 5 things on here at the moment. Now I'm going to try to find what 5 things. It didn't work like I thought it would, but I'm going to try to find the 5 things that you can use your coupon code. Okay, I got it. The first thing is First thing is this dog toy. 50% off. It's currently $5.99. They get 50% off. Brand new dog toy. The second thing is use the code Don't the Fuck Do It. All capitals. Don't the fuck do it. No apostrophe and don't. Don't the fuck do it. Another thing that you can use the code for is blah 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 blah. That screwdriver set that I showed you. I can't find it. Here it goes. The next one is this. You can get for 50% off. It's on sale for $9.99. So you end up paying somewhere around $5, $4.94 something. But you get this for 50% off. It is a precision screwdriver and hex key set. I have these brand prior to move. The next thing is I don't have that with me. I don't have that with me. I can go get it. And that block, that's fine. Delete this one because I don't even actually have these. These are the dog pet pooper scooper bags and shit. I don't have no money. Gave them all $2.71 for their dog. I'm gonna take that out of there. Get 1 minute. For all you creep artists, I have these. I'm going to put them right there so you remember that I have these. For all you creep artists, know they're going raw, dog. I have these. Don't wait too late to find out. These are for all of the creep artists. And I don't know how much these are for sale, but I don't know how much they are, but it shouldn't matter. You need a creeper. Let's see. Okay. We have padlock. Come with 2 keys, brand new. I mean, sometimes the packages is a little roughed up but brand new padlock. They are for sale. They are currently for sale at $2.99. 50% off might get you these bitches for about $1.50. And what else is 50% off this? This is an M5004 multi-tool with a goddamn light. It's a measuring tape, multi-tool with LED and measuring tape. These are brand new. They're going for $2.99 on eBay. Half price to get you around $1.50. Use the code. Don't the fuck do it. These mini sweepers. You'd be surprised how handy these motherfuckers are. And you'd probably be surprised how for your car, for your house, for whatever, the little corners and crevices. You'd be surprised how handy these motherfuckers are. Brand new. Brand new. They are currently $4.99 at eBay. So with your 50% discount, you will get $2.50, right? Yeah, you get $2.50. And we have, I said the multi-tool, the brush, the fucking sliding disc. I don't even have a box of that motherfucker. Oh, yes I do. These. Great for exercise. Great for exercise. These fucking work. My cat uses them all the time. Look how in shape my cat is. My cat uses these all the time. These are sliding exercise discs. As you see on the box, the lady is doing some type of slide with them. The cat uses these all the time to work out. Look how in shape my cat is. These are $3.49. I guess you get it for about $1.75. The code is motherfucker. Don't the fuck do it. DONTTHEFUCKDOIT. Don't the fuck do it. Right now, those 5 things, you can use the code to get those 5 things. Tomorrow, I will add another thing, and the day after, and the day after, and the motherfucking day after. Only for my Positive Network family. If you are here because you are a fucking hater, that code is not going to work. I repeat, the code is not going to work. eBay knows what's in your heart. If you're here because you're a hater, the code is like, no, I'm just bullshit. If you're here, I want you to have the code. I'm glad you got the code. 50% off. Gee. 50% off. All the way up to December the 24th. And now that that's out the way, I can tell you what the question of the night is. And I hope that I can get some rhythm on this, John. I hope y'all not too scared to get down there in the comment section and give your opinion. The question of the night is, I'm still here. I'm just thinking. The question of the night is, let's make it relationship related. The question of the night is, would you leave the person you're currently with if you could get with your first love? Would you leave the person that you're currently with for an opportunity of getting back with your first love? That goes for if you're married. I mean, you know, these are like motherfucking, these are just, what you call it, I forgot what you call it, but these are not like reality questions saying that you are going to do this, you know? These not that kind of questions, but the question is, would you? With all things considered, would you leave the person that you're currently with for your another chance at your first love? You might be 50 like myself, 53 years old I am. My first love, I'm not embarrassed to say, was Rhonda. I have always had Rhonda on a pedestal way up here. There is nothing that Rhonda can do outside of hurting me, physically or mentally, which she has never done that will ever take her off of this pedestal. That don't mean that I want to get with Rhonda. That's just my first love. I'm telling you, my first love. I'm not answering this question. This question is for y'all. Would you leave the person that you're currently with for another shot at your first love? You can get in the comment section now if you want. Or you can just answer in your own head. It's up to you. But we're here. We're here. We're here. And we gonna be here. I got work. Matter of fact, let me get some real quick cut. I haven't even written a news story today. Would you leave the person that you're currently with for another shot at your first love? You can explain why you would or why you wouldn't. The more words you put down there, the better. You can explain why you would or why you wouldn't. That's if anybody is in here. I haven't even looked. I'm just saying. You can explain why you would or why you wouldn't. I'm not answering that. I'm not touching that shit. I told you who my first love was, and I told you how I feel about her, how I will always feel about her. She's on a pedestal. She can, in my eyes, that woman can do no wrong. It doesn't mean that I want to get back with her. I'm just saying how I feel about my first love. That's never going to change. When I think about her, we were teenagers, early teenagers, not like 19 teenagers. We were 13, 14, 15-year-old kind of teenagers. And that was my first love. I always smile when I see her drawing flash down on my I see her drawing come down my face, but that's her profile, her name, and I smile because that's my first love. That's how I'm always gonna have that about my first love. But the question for you is, would you risk it all for a shot to be with your first love? Like I told you, this goes back to when I was 15, somewhere around that age. I'm 53 years old. I could be fucking married. I'm not married, but you know what I mean? This question is like hypothetical. That's the word I was looking for. Hypothetical. Hypothetically speaking, because you might be sitting next to your mate right now. This is 100% hypothetical. There's nothing real about it. Would you leave your current relationship for a shot at your first love? And I'm talking about your first love. Your first love, you feel about your first love like I feel about my first love. This has actually happened to me. On a very rainy day, Rhonda came walking around the corner. It was still, she had on her British Knights BKs, which I told her not to buy because they start calling her Burger King. But anyway, Rhonda came walking around the corner. It's raining hard as shit. I'm standing on twigs and them steps, and I can see her just coming up the steps on the playground on what's that, Cumberland Street side, and she was cutting through, so this is where she was coming. And Rhonda, I saw her from all the way over there, and it's raining hard as shit. But to me, to see her, it felt like the sun was out. It felt like it was a sunny ass day, like the fucking sun was out that motherfucker. That's how first love makes you feel. And I'm asking you, would you risk it all for a shot, another shot with your first love? This is hypothetical. You're married. Don't get no divorce. You're with somebody you've been with. We're not talking about you leaving them for. No. This is just hypothetically speaking. Or would you like, to spend a few nights, days, what the fuck ever? You know what I'm saying? Would you want to get back with your first love and leave what you already had? Why or why not? Will it work? But if not, just simple yes or no. That will do. Last night I let the people hear description of some of the books, a short little some more books, and I think I'm going to do that again. And I guess I'd be on for an hour or so, and then I'd start working on it. I'll finish doing this, I guess. But the question is still there. Would you risk it all for another shot with your first love? That love that made you motherfucking get tongue tied. You can't even talk straight when you're around this motherfucker. You remember? Motherfucking heart start beating and shit. All fast and shit. You remember? Alright. That person that made you feel like that for the first time. That's the person I'm speaking of. The person that made you feel like that for the first time. Would you risk it all for a shot? One more shot. Okay, this is All or Nothing. All or Nothing by Kareem Abdul-Rahman. It has a listening time of, I'm talking about the Audible version. This book is in Kindle, $2.99 on Kindle, or you can read it free if you have Amazon Prime. I just subscribed to Prime right before I got on it because the game was on. Audible audiobook is free, but you get a $7.95. You would have a $7.95 a month subscription. But with Audible, you can cancel this in the first month. You can cancel the subscription before the payment comes. At any time, you can get Audible just to listen to my books, and then you can cancel that book. In paperback, this book is $10.99. It is 4 hours and 54 minutes of listening time. The description. Elena was running from a life of order. Vic was running from all of the gangsters in the city he owed money to. Sakina was running from the police and courts. They were all running from different things, but they all had one thing in common. They needed to get the hell out of Philly. Elena was stuck in a dead-end job that was going nowhere. She was in a relationship that was going nowhere. She felt as if her whole life was going nowhere. She wanted more out of life, but she'd always been too scared to leave the comfort and security of Philly and go somewhere else to pursue her dreams of becoming an actress. Elena learns that you have to take chances if you want to have anything worth having, and nothing is easy. Vic schemed and hustled everyone in Philly for years. His scheming ways have finally caught up with him, and he has to get out of Philly or risk losing his life in the streets. The change of scenery is good for Vic, and he finally gets a chance to have the one thing he's always wanted but could never have when he was in Philly. When he gets it, he doesn't appreciate it and lets it get away from him in search of something he thinks is better. Sakina never worked an honest legal job a day in her life. She was a natural hustler, and she was out to get money by any means, including selling her body. Not my friend Sakina, this character is just named Sakina, so Sakina, don't be mad. It's just a character in the goddamn book. Sakina is nothing like this character. Philly has become too hot for her, and she's grateful for the opportunity to get out of town. Sakina does the same things in New York that she used to do when she was in Philly, but New York is way bigger than Philly, and it's a whole different kind of beast. She promises herself that she will get money or either die trying. What should have been a simple, convenient living arrangement for the three in a new city turned into chaos, jealousy, and madness, when the friendships turned into a vicious love triangle. The three friends did things that they thought they would never do, and everybody's true colors start to show. The three get caught up in the world of reality TV, porn, drugs, and the nightclub scene. The big city threatens to take them lower than they've ever been. Will the friends be able to hang in the big city or be eaten alive by the big apple? And here's a sample from the book.
This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. All or Nothing by Kareem Abdul-Rahman. Chapter 1. Gotta make moves. After 4 years of college, insurance company since she got her degree almost 6 years ago. Elena's career was going nowhere fast. She'd most likely risen as far as she was going to go in the company. Elena was more than certain that her...
By the way, I'm going to read some of the comments. You know, I'm interested to see what people think. If you leave a comment, if anybody's even in there, because I'm not nowhere near the phone. But if anybody's in there and you leave a comment, I'm going to read the comments.
That her life was supposed to be different. She was...
As a matter of fact, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get to my YouTube page. Let's see if I can see it. Give me 1 second. I really don't know how this shit works. Okay, there goes my live. Got one like, one watching now, started streaming 36 minutes ago. Well, that's pretty cool. At least one person's here. And oh, I'm missing the, okay, I'm a second or two behind. So the conversation is open and you can join the conversation. I am nobody. It says, what are you doing? Somebody said hi, I am nobody. Hi, I am nobody. Sherry said hi, Sherry. Nancy Nugent said hi, Nancy. I'm sorry I didn't have it, but I got it now. Hi to everybody that said hi. Hi. The question of the night is, would you risk it all for one more chance with your first love? Would you risk it all for one more chance with your first love? Oh, one watching now, that's probably me. Well, I'm going to keep going anyway. Back to the book.
This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. This title is All or Nothing by Kareem Abdul-Rahman. Chapter 1. Gotta make moves. After 4 years of college and maintaining damn near a 4.0 GPA all the way through, Elena found that she still could not find a job that lived up to her standards. It was downright frustrating and kind of depressing. Elena rolled over in her bed and looked up at the college degree hanging on the wall. Big fucking hell you were. Elena had been stuck in her job in the accounting department of an insurance company since she got her degree almost 6 years ago. Elena's career was going nowhere fast. She'd most likely risen as far as she was going to go in the company. Elena was more than certain that her life was supposed to be different. She was supposed to be living it up somewhere and not working this hard to do it.
Hi to
In her
Sherry.
eyes,
Hi,
she was supposed
Sherry.
to be an actress. Why shouldn't she?
Hi, I am nobody.
Elena was pretty and she knew it.
Hi,
The
Nancy.
best way to describe Elena was to
Nancy,
say
I'm
that she
good.
looked
Hi.
like Diamond from the Players Club. Same figure and all. Elena was stacked. All natural too. There were no artificial add-ons to
You got
Elena's
fat
body.
like that.
God had really blessed her when she was created. She always believed that she was made to be on the big screen. Movies or TV series, it didn't really matter. The only thing that mattered was that Elena believed that she was destined to be an actress. Elena had no experience or talent for acting, but so what? As far as she was concerned, most people in movies couldn't really act either. They got in movies because of their faces and bodies. Believing that made Elena believe that her looks and body should be enough to compensate for her lack of talent. She knew she could make it in the business if somebody took a gamble and gave her half a chance. Elena wanted to gamble on moving to another city to try her luck in the industry. The only thing stopping her from taking that gamble was that Elena was not the gambling security. Elena's every decision in life had been based on security. Even her current relationship, Kenny, who she'd been dating for the last 3 years, was boring as hell, but he was safe. There was no fear of him cheating on her or ever leaving her. Kenny wasn't going anywhere. The only way their relationship was ever going to end would be if she broke up with him. She was cool with that. It meant she had control of the relationship. Having control equaled security in her eyes. Elena was well aware that if she seriously wanted to be a big-time actress, it wasn't going to happen living in Philadelphia. She needed to move to California or New York. The idea of living somewhere other than Philly was something that she couldn't even bring herself to imagine seriously. Philly was her security blanket. She was born here and had spent most of her life here. The only time Elena had even been out of the city for an extended period of time was the 4 years of college she'd spent at Virginia Tech. She was at home and totally comfortable living in Philadelphia. Leaving Philly was going to be that one hurdle that she would never be able to jump in her pursuit of an acting career. The alarm clock loudly going off interrupted her thoughts. Elena sighed. All this early morning daydreaming could have been another 15 minutes of sleep. Elena shook her head. She leaned over and slammed her hand down hard on the alarm clock. Elena pushed her dreams of being a star to the back of her head and got out of the bed. She walked to the shower and prepared to put on her "Everything in My Life is Great" face. Elena drove to work with that old Young Jeezy and Akon Soul Survivor blasting on the radio in her car. The more she listened, the more she got frustrated. Just like her, these guys had to start from somewhere. The only difference between people like them and her was that they were brave enough to go all out in the pursuit of their dreams, and she wasn't. Why couldn't she go all out to pursue her dreams like they did? You can't win if you don't play the game right. Elena nodded as she tried to convince herself that she was going to do it.
That was all or nothing. It is 4 hours and 54 minutes of listening time. You can get the Kindle, you can get the ebook for $2.99, or you can read it free. With Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, the Audible book is free with a membership trial, and the paperback book is $10.99. Let's go on to the next one. This is, I don't think I did this one last night. This is, I know I did, so I wish you that. I'm not sure if I did Love Without a Limit. We're going to do Love. This is Love Without a Limit. The Kindle is $2.99, or you can get it free if you have Amazon Prime. Same thing with the audio book, free with a membership trial, and the paperback is $6.99. Here's the description. When love becomes a game, everyone involved loses. What started as a chance meeting as teenagers and grew into love turned into something ugly when Jacob and Trina seemed to be competing to see which one could hurt the other more. These were teenagers. Jake knew he was in love with Trina from the moment he met her. He was young and naive to the ways of the opposite sex, but Jake knew that he would have Trina for himself one day. At the present moment, Jake was more concerned with living out his dreams of being the next Scarface. First he would get the money, then he would get the power, and then he would get the ladies. He was still working on step one. Trina was 16 years old when she first met Jake. Trina had lived a very experienced and promiscuous 16 years. She had been in relationships with much older men since she was 13 years old. She didn't even bother to mess with boys her own age. They could do nothing for her. When she met Jake, she considered him a little boy, even though they were the same age. She treated him like a little boy and played games with him. Eventually, Trina decided to give Jake a chance. Somewhere down the line, the tables turned, and Trina fell head over heels in love with Jake. The minute that she did, Jake was already out to get revenge on her for playing around with him before and started to cheat on her. Trina got revenge and cheated on him numerous times. This started a process that went on well into their adult years. They constantly loved each other just to hurt one another. Through all the trials and tribulations and cheating, one thing that remained intact was their friendship. Regardless of whatever else was happening in their lives, they remained friends. As Trina and Jake got older, they knew that they had to make a final decision on whether they would be a couple and continue their games of revenge or just remain as friends. Their friendship was more important than anything else. Will Jake and Trina take a gamble on at losing their friendship for one final shot at love? This is a sample from the book.
This title is narrated with virtual voice, imagination, or used Instagram York-bound names. Time to man to be. All he had to do was be young and enjoy life.
Okay, here we go.
1. Love at first sight. Jacob knew he was in love with Trina the first time he laid eyes on her. It was the summer of 1995. Jacob was 16 years old and would be entering his junior year at high school in the fall. He was in that carefree time of life when you didn't have to worry about paying bills or supporting a family. All he had to do was be young and enjoy life. It was a great time for him. Instead of going to get a summer job like a lot of teenagers do in the summer, Jacob entered into the world of selling drugs, and he was lucky enough to be down with some older cats who were getting money in the hood. The summer before this, he was the store boy who ran back and forth to the store to get food for the corner boys. This summer, he was promoted to corner lookout. Jacob was officially in the game now. Last summer, he was Lil Jake to his old heads. This summer, he went by Jake Capone. Mostly because he loved being on the corner. Even when he wasn't working his shift as lookout, he was on the corner. Jake was soaking up every bit of game that he could because he had plans to own this whole operation in a few years. He planned on rising to the top of the organization strictly based on his hustling skills. Jake was into the hoes, but he never chased them. As a matter of fact, Jake was a rare breed amongst his peers. He was a 16-year-old virgin. Not because he couldn't get any. He probably wouldn't have a problem if he tried. It was because he lived by the Scarface rules of life. First you get the money, then you get the power, then the women will flock to you. Jake was still waiting to climb one of the Scarface ladder to success. Anything else wasn't a concern to him right now. All that changed when he met Trina. For Trina to only be 16 years old, she had a lot of life experience. Not life experience like being raped and living on the streets and all of that.
Moving on. That was Love Without a Limit, by the way. Okay, this is Tommy Tucker, The Neighborhood Sucker, by Kareem Rahman. The Kindle is $4.99, but like I said before, you get it free if you have Amazon Prime. The audio book is free with the membership to Audible. That's $7.95 a month, but you can cancel before the first month is over, and the paperback is $9.99. This is the description. Nothing in this world motivates a person like the want or need for money, especially when you become accustomed to living a certain lifestyle. There's almost nothing that you wouldn't do to continue living that lifestyle, and almost no one that you wouldn't walk over to continue living that lifestyle. Meet Pebbles, your average female that is going through life and taking the steps to try to ensure a good life for herself. Pebbles has her eye on the prize that is a good future for herself. That changes when she meets and falls in love with her college sweetheart Alvin. She finds in Alvin what she thought life was supposed to be about: love and happiness. Pebbles studies quick. Pebbles is studies quickly take a backseat to Alvin, the love of her life. Alvin is a gentleman in every sense of the word. He's kind, caring, and attentive to all of her wants and needs. Or at least he started out that way. It didn't take long before Pebbles discovered that Alvin was a devil in disguise. He really wasn't such a gentleman. He was really a drunken, frequently abusive, insecure monster who began beating Pebbles in public on a regular basis. During one of her public beatings, Pebbles was saved from Alvin's wrath by a knight in shining armor named Jalil. Pebbles was impressed by Jalil in every way possible from the very beginning. Now this was a real man. Jalil was everything that Alvin wasn't: mature, not jealous, and most importantly, a willing provider. Well, it turns out Jalil wasn't what Pebbles had originally thought that he was either. Jalil had some skeletons hidden deep down inside his closet. Unlike last time with Alvin, Pebbles refused to take the disrespect laying down. Truthfully, just between me and you, Pebbles really just refused to give up the lifestyle that Jalil provided for her. Either way, Pebbles is now out for revenge, and we all know that there is nothing more dangerous on the face of this earth than a woman who feels like she has been wronged. Tommy was one of those dudes who never fit in anywhere. Not in grade school, not in middle school, not in high school. No matter where Tommy went, he was labeled a weirdo. Feeling this way made Tommy's decision about what to do with his life after high school an easy one. He went into the Army. Tommy came home from the Army a new man with some new skills, but he still found himself being looked at as a weirdo. Tommy accepted this and attempted to settle into a new job and a new life as a weirdo. Of course, this led him to dive deeply into a life online. Tommy was all into. Any social network you can name, Tommy was on it. This was his escape from reality. Tommy's life was good for a minute. He had his real life and his fantasy life, two separate things, but Tommy found a way to make both work for him. Tommy will find his life forever changed when his fantasy and real lives collide, and he will find his life completely turned upside down when his fantasy life leads him to a meeting with a woman named Pebbles. Here's a preview from the book.
This title is narrated with all of the loud talking and laughing. He turned redder as he realized that even yelling as loud as he could was no use. No one was paying him any mind. Damn near everyone here already knew the drill.
Here we go.
Welcome to the Terradome. Form one single file, line right here. When you reach the white tape, wait to be called and then walk up to the window. The red-faced corrections officer yelled as he tried to talk loud enough to have his voice heard over all of the loud talking and laughing. He turned redder as he realized that even yelling as loud as he could was no use. No one was paying him any mind. Damn near everyone here already knew the drill. He shook his head as he walked away. Fucking losers. Not everyone down here in the receiving and discharge area of the county jail was ignoring the CO. Thomas Everett Tucker stood up against the wall with all of the other new arrivals to the jail and listened intently to every word the correctional officer had just said. Thomas was a little different than most of the other new arrivals who were lined up against the wall with him. Most of those guys looked like veterans to the system. Thomas, on the other hand, was as green as they came. Hell, Thomas had been green practically everywhere he went. Sometimes Thomas acted like he wasn't even from Earth. Everything seemed to be something that was new and unfamiliar to him. Every single little ass thing. It was kind of weird. Thomas was kind of fucking weird too. Not weird looking, just fucking weird. You'll see what I'm talking about a little later on. Anyway, Thomas looked all around him as the line leading to the white tape and the window slowly moved. Everybody looked so happy to be here. People were laughing, talking loudly, and pretty much seemed to be enjoying themselves. It was hard to tell if being locked up was a thing to celebrate or a thing to grieve over. had in his life. He could only imagine what the rest of the jail must be like. How in the hell could people be in a place like this and seem so happy to be here? This thing right here was a totally unfamiliar atmosphere to Tommy. He'd never been or even dreamed that he'd find himself on this side of the law. Tommy had been on the other side though, barely. Before the events that brought him here transpired, Tommy had been working as a police dispatch officer for the 25th Police District in North Philadelphia. Tommy was a law-abiding citizen, but that didn't mean that he looked down on those who weren't. Tommy was the type that believed that there were different strokes for different folks. He made it his business to not give a fuck about other people's. Tommy had always been more concerned with what he had going on, which wasn't much. Outside of working, Tommy really had no life at all. Tommy wasn't living, he was merely existing. Tommy had no friends, no social life, and no love interest on the horizon a year ago. Tommy's only pleasure of any type was internet porn and webcam models. The latter was the main reason why Tommy still lived in a studio apartment on top of a convenience store on 6th and Spring Garden Street in North Philly. With Tommy's normal salary, plus his frequent nights of overtime and double shifts, Tommy could have easily saved up enough money to put a down payment on a nice house in 6 months' time or less. I said could have. The reason he could never do so was because so much of his money went to paying the cam girls to see them take their clothes off and sometimes chat with them online. Tommy was really hooked on that webcam shit, which was kind of weird if you thought about it, because he didn't do nothing but go whack off after giving the cam girls hundreds of dollars every night. He could have saved his hundreds, watched some free porn, and had the same outcome later for a whole lot less. Not judging, I'm just saying. Anyway, the webcamming may have been the reason that Tommy couldn't save much money, but his life really took a strange turn one night while he was on Instagram fishing. Tommy ran across a chick with the username of Miss Pebbly Poo. Tommy was instantly infatuated. He was in love with her the first time he laid eyes on her. Tommy wasn't sure if her name was actually Pebbles or something that was somewhat close to her username, but Tommy guessed that her name might be Pebbles. So Pebbles was the name that he used to go along with the image of her face when he played whack-a-mole every night. Tommy's life was turned upside down on what seemed like a normal Tuesday night. Tommy was on Instagram, leaving long paragraphs under every picture that Miss Pebbly Poo posted as usual. The strange part was when Miss Pebbly Poo asked Tommy to send her a direct message so that they might get to know each other. Tommy was shocked and nervous. To him, chatting with Miss Pebbly Poo by a direct message
Okay, that was Tommy Tucker, the neighborhood sucker. And you can get the Kindle for $4.99 and you can read it free with Amazon Prime. You can get the audio book free with a $7.95 a month membership to Audible. But you can cancel before the membership is up. And you get the paperback for $9.99 at Amazon. Let's keep it going. This is Up the Ladder by Kareem Rahman. You can get the Kindle for $2.99 or you can get it free. Amazon Prime. The book is, well, I guess it, let me see, part of the book. This title is not available for you. Sorry, this title is no longer available. Please try to use this. Well, on mine, the audio book is not available, but I'm guessing it's the same deal. And the paperback is $10.99. This is the description. Living in the same neighborhood sometimes brings people together, even when there was a time that you thought you had absolutely nothing in common with someone. D'Amico was home, fresh off doing a 12-year stretch in the pen. Things had changed drastically. Everybody from the old days were gone. The hood was now run by a bunch of faces that he did not recognize. He did run into two recognizable faces from the days of old, though, Mac and Armani. They were not actually friends back in the day, but being the last of a dying breed brought the three together. The three were feeling the pressure of being a couple of years away from turning 40 years old. Attempting to turn back the hands of time and get money like he used to was out of the question for D'Amico. He still loves money, but he was not willing to go back to prison to get it. D'Amico comes up with a new way to make some money. An investment from Armani, and Matt gets the business off the ground, and the three form a partnership. Things begin going better than anyone expects, and what started out as a side hustle ends up turning into a full-blown business. The partners decide that they want to take their business to the next level. Going to the next level means rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful. That turns out to be a different ball game than the North Philly raised friends could have ever expected. This is a dog eat dog world, a real life Shark Tank. The partners quickly find out what they are made of. When you're attempting to climb up the when you are attempting to climb up that power ladder, it's swim or drown. There is no in between. There is no loyalty. There is no trust. There are no friends. There is only eat or be eaten. There is no right or wrong when you're trying to climb up the ladder. Here is a sample from the book.
This title was narrated with virtual voice, hustle, or other thing going on. How was a person supposed to survive in this world without money? You'd have to be a true lame to be walking around here without money and doing absolutely
Alright, here
nothing.
we go.
I'm gonna fuck. Every person you ever knew. Damico Kingston was a dreamer. He'd always been a dreamer. To most people, that was a bad thing. It took money to survive. To have money, you needed to have a job. That, or have some type of money-making hustle or other thing going on. How was a person supposed to survive in this world without money? You'd have to be a true lame to be walking around here without money and doing absolutely nothing to try to get some. This is how most people looked at Miko. But most people were very different from the Mark Zuckerbergs, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Jeff Bezos of the world. All of those guys were dreamers. You don't create something from nothing without a dream or a vision. The only difference between a person like Miko and those fellow dreamers of his I named was that they had actually turned their dreams into a reality, created something where there once was nothing. That's it. That's the only difference. If you lived in a world before social media was invented, and Mark Zuckerberg walked up to you and told you about this idea he had for social media, you probably think he was some type of lunatic. That, or either a weirdo. This was pretty much Damico's situation. No, he was not about to create the next big anything. Damico's issue was that he didn't exactly do what the hood expected you to do. That kind of made him sort of a weirdo. You know, the whole get in where you fit in thing. There's many ways and categories to break down hood life. One that I found to be true is those who want to stay in the hood and those who want out of that motherfucker. When I say out, I'm not talking about buying a house way out in the suburbs and coming to hang in the hood every day before you go back to your nice suburban home at nights. Nah, when I say want out, I'm talking about those that leave and never return. Looking at it that way, it would make sense to say that most people who want to stay will be more likely to do illegal things. Those who want to leave will probably be more likely to work a legal job. And those two groups were how people usually separated themselves. Damico was one of those dudes who didn't fit in anywhere. He did not want to live in the hood forever. Damico always said if he ever got out of this motherfucker, he was never coming back. Not even for a quick visit. It would seem like legality would be Damico's answer to getting out of the hood. Get a job, save up some money, maybe get his credit score up along the way, and go about handling his business of getting out of the hood. Miko refused to work a 9 to 5 though. He was not giving some job and boss all of his good years for a $1,500 per month social security check when he turned 70 years old in return. People who didn't want to work a 9 to 5 usually turned to the streets to make a buck in the hood. But Miko didn't want to do that either. Miko refused to put himself in a position to be giving years and years of his life to the state, or worse, the feds. Selling drugs to make a buck was not in the cards for Miko. It used to be though. Miko had a nice little run in the drug game back in the day. I mean, he didn't get rich or anything, but he did pretty well for himself. Miko got popped with 9 ounces of crack and a loaded .380 handgun. That was enough to get a convicted felon a 15-year stretch. Miko did a 12-piece and some change on the 15-year prison sentence and found himself coming home, a 35-year-old adult who had never had a legal job in his life. Miko came home from prison in early 2015 with 3.5 years probation to walk off. Miko maintained a job for those 3.5 years. He worked at a few non-skilled entry-level gigs: retail, construction, and assembly line work. Miko moved into his mom's old house in North Philly, the same house he'd grown up in as a child. He was always making close to minimum wage, but Miko was managing to get by with his low-paying gigs. The problem was, Miko didn't want to get by. He wanted to get over. The only thing that kept Miko with a legal job for those 3 years was the constant reminder from his probation officer that he needed to have a job or be enrolled in some type of schooling. If he wasn't, he would be sent back to prison on a violation of probation charge. Miko followed the rules. 12 years of your life spent behind bars was hella motivation for most people to never want to go back. The very day that Miko's completion of probation papers came in the mail, he quit his job. Miko had no plans for anything, but he'd always believed that he was put on this earth to do.
That was Up the Ladder by Kareem Rahman with a running listening time of 5 hours and 42 minutes. I left the question of the night in the description. I put the question of the night in the description. Now, one person is viewing, and that might be me or that might be somebody else. But to anybody that may be listening right now, what I mean when I say the positive network, I'm going to tell you right now. The first book that I wrote was That's How the Game Goes. It was published in 2014. Number 2 was Can't Get It Right, published in 2014. The third book that I ever wrote was Love Without a Limit, published in 2014. The fourth book I wrote was Born to Die, published in 2014. The fifth book I wrote was The Philly Commission, published in 2014. The sixth book I wrote was Not Guilty, written and published in 2014. All of these were written and published in 2014. The seventh book that I wrote was Family is Forever, written and published in 2014. The eighth book that I wrote was All or Nothing, written and published in 2014. The ninth book that I wrote was That's How the Game Goes Part 2, written and published in 2014, excuse me. The 10th book I wrote was A Good Girl Going Bad, written and published in 2014. I wrote 10 books in 2014. Not one of them were bestsellers. I made very little money off of those books, if any. I don't even think anybody, I don't even know how much money I made off of them books in 2014, but it wasn't a lot. I wasn't getting a lot of sales in 2014. I could see my sales after I write each book. When I wrote the first book, I knew that it wasn't going to sell. I knew that it wasn't selling. When I wrote the second book, I knew that the first book wasn't selling. When I wrote the third book, I knew that the first 2 books weren't selling, but I still kept writing. When I wrote the fourth book, I knew the first 3 weren't selling, but I kept writing. When I wrote the fifth book, I knew the other 4 weren't selling, but I kept writing. When I wrote the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying. I didn't get deterred. I just kept writing. Negative results don't deter me. I just keep going. This is what I'm going to be successful at. Negative results do not. I repeat, I don't quit because of negative results. This is the positive network. Nothing but positivity. You can't understand that because you don't want to understand. You keep thinking I am who you think I am, and I am not who you think I am. I am highly sourced. In 2015, I wrote the Philly Commission, A Good Girl Gone Bad Part 2, Straight Scandalous, Trapped, and Trapped. See, they missing something. But my point is negative results do not, I repeat, negative results do not deter me. I won't let it. On to the next book. The next book is The Grass is Always Green by Kareem Rahman. The Kindle edition is $3.99. If you have Kindle, you have Amazon Prime, you can read it for free. The audiobook version is free with a membership trial to audio. You can cancel before the bill comes. The paperback edition of this book is $12.99. This is the description. So this is a complete book, no sequels, no spin-offs. Is the grass really always greener on the other side? Two couples are about to find out firsthand. Fatima has always been, how can I say this lightly, a free spirit. Her life had always been about getting hers any way that she could. Fatima thought that people who did the whole relationship thing were some damn fools. Fatima ran through life doing whatever with whoever she wanted to do things with. She was happy living this way, or so she thought. Fatima found that the life she was living had become tiresome. When Fatima met Dewan, she thought that she had met the perfect man. He was respectful, had a job, and he worshipped the ground that Fatima walked on. Fatima had the perfect married life that people dream about. The perfect marriage quickly became boring to someone like Fatima. What she was searching for was some excitement. Tariq had a way with the ladies for as long as he could remember. He used his skills with the ladies to get any chick he wanted. Outside of getting chicks, Tariq's main goal in life was to get money and cruise through life on someone else's dime. Tariq met a woman who was the total opposite of himself. He fell deeply in love. Tariq ended up getting his heart broken. Heartbreak made Tariq a very bitter man. He promised himself that he would never fall in love again. Tariq went from woman to woman, using them for whatever he could. Nothing major, just petty gifts. That changed when he met Shanae, a woman who was willing to pay Tariq's way through life and allow him to do him. Even that got boring after a while to a guy like Tariq. Tariq was looking for something more. Tariq was looking for some excitement. This book has 4 hours and 35 listens. The listening time is 4 hours and 35 minutes. I apologize. Here's a sample of the book.
This title is narrated with the words that caseworker. That the bitch had said them. This fat ass probably hadn't been fucked in years. White, Rosie O'Donnell looking bitch was sitting here trying to talk down to me like I owed her something. Fatima, 4 years ago. And where exactly is it that you applied to in your search for a job this month? Those were the words that changed my life forever. It wasn't so much the words that were said, it was the way that the bitch had said them. This fat ass probably hadn't been fucked in years. White, Rosie O'Donnell looking bitch was sitting here trying to talk down to me like I owed her something. Like I was asking for money directly from her pockets or some shit. Bitch, those are state funds, not yours. And I've earned them. The fat, sexless bitch that I'm speaking of is Miss Rancid, my unemployment caseworker. Yes, I'm unemployed and honestly not even thinking about looking for a job right now. I'm not proud of that, but it is what it is. Eventually I'll get myself together. I'm just in a little slump at the moment. Still, How could a person try to make you feel bad about collecting unemployment anyway? These funds are reserved for people who have worked and lost their job through no fault of their own, like myself. And maybe I may not have a job and have my shit together right now, but that doesn't give a person the right to think that they're better than me. I started receiving unemployment a year ago. Miss Rancid had been all on my back since the day that I was assigned to her. I think that bitch is jealous of me. Who the fuck wouldn't be? I mean, look at me. And then look at this Raggedy Ann and Andy ass bitch sitting on the other side of the desk. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't know what I look like, do you? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Fatima, but everybody calls me Tima. I'm 5'6" of chocolate-colored caramel. People say that my sleepy eyes make me look foreign. My naturally full, luscious lips are the envy of all of the bitches, like old steak-ass Miss Rancid with her thin, nasty-ass lips. And my ass. Don't let me get started on my ass. My ass is big and round like Cherokee the porn star. Unlike these fake bitches on Instagram, my ass is 100% real. My leg-to-ass ratio is perfect. Thank you very much. No chicken legs over here, boo-boo. And my stomach is perfectly flat. I don't work out or anything. I take plenty of pictures at the gym, but no working out and sweating. Fuck all of that. I guess I've just been blessed that way. I eat what I want and I don't get fat. I get thick. And all of that thickness goes to the right places. I'm pretty much perfect. The only minor flaw that I see are my breasts. I'm only a B cup right now, but I plan on changing that as soon as I get my hands on some money. I'm upgrading to a double D. Anyway, a little about my past. I'll give you the short version. I was a straight A student until my junior year of high school. That was when my body just showed up out of the blue one day like pow. In the blink of an eye, I went from Tima, the cool-ass chick that all of the boys looked at like a sister, to Tima, the bad-ass chick whose panties every boy was trying to get into. I'm not a dummy. I've never been a dummy. I knew that all of the boys just wanted to get into my panties. I had no delusions of falling in love with my high school crush, getting married, and then living happily ever after. I just wanted to lose my virginity. Everybody else seemed to have had sex before but me. Being as though my body had magically appeared overnight, I was looked at like the new girl. Even though most of my graduating class had went to the same school since elementary school days and had known each other for years, I had my pickings. I could choose any boy that I wanted to be my first. I chose Miles Harper. I'd been crushing on Miles since the 3rd grade. He never paid me any attention, though. Back then, my dark skin and big lips were something to laugh at. Miles and all of the other boys used to make jokes about how dark I was and the size of my big lips. Tima's so black that when she went to night school,
That was The Grass is Always Green by Kareem Rahman. Next we have Come for Hire. Guns for Hire is 99 cents. The ebook is 99 cents. You can read it free if you have Kindle, Amazon Prime. The audiobook, same deal with the free membership, and this book is not in paperback. It has a running time of a listening time of 3 hours and 70 minutes. The description. JJ was a loner. He'd always been this way, even though he didn't realize it. JJ's loner ways led him to the perfect occupation for a person like himself, a hired assassin. JJ quickly became one of the best at his job. Being the best required a few things from him: steady work, practice, and the ability to never love anyone or anything. Enter Michaela, a beautiful woman with a good heart. Michaela was a good person, but she had a bad habit of falling in with the wrong people. Michaela was attracted to the bad boy type of guy who treated her terribly. They say opposites attract. JJ and Michaela fell for each other almost instantly, and that love couldn't have come at a better time for both of them. The downside to this was that both of them brought baggage from their dangerous lifestyles to the relationship. That old baggage puts both of them directly in the line of fire. And before I start the book, let me say this. I don't know. I thought this was one of the captions that didn't need to say. Yes, sometimes I use names of people that I know in my books. No, I do not. You are not that character. You heard? You are not that character. Just because the name may be yours or even mine. Just because a letter may be there that in yours or even mine does not, I repeat, does not mean that this has anything to do with you. Thank you.
This title is narrated with virtual voice. Computer generate the perfect model for what America says a tax-paying citizen should be. A stone cold square. The square does everything he's supposed to do. The exact what prelude. Look at this fucking guy, man. Here's a guy who does everything a man is supposed to do. Has a job, a wife, 3 kids. The man goes to work every single day and works his ass off for $12 an hour. Never been into anything illegal. Hell, he probably never even thought about doing anything illegal. He is the perfect model for what America says a tax-paying citizen should be. The stone cold square. The square does everything he's supposed to do, the exact way that it's supposed to be done. And what does life give him for living the correct way? Shit, guy lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in the worst part of the city, up to his neck in unpaid debt, and just for laughs, his wife is cheating on him with his best friend. God sure has a strange sense of humor. This situation is bad, but that's not even the worst part of this guy's life. The worst part is that he's going to be killed today. That sorry son of a bitch doesn't even have a clue that today is the day that he's going to meet his maker. Look at him, taking out the trash on the job. A cold fucking square. That's not even in his job description, but he does it every single day anyway. That's just the kind of person he is. And his reward for being a good person? Getting his fucking head blown off in broad daylight by a total stranger. Oh, you're probably wondering how I know that this guy's going to die today, huh? That's easy. It's because I'm going to be the one to push this guy's top back. I'm not mad at him. I'm not robbing him. This guy had wronged me in no way at all. He's never even seen me before. I'm ending this man's life because I was paid to do so. The crazy part about this is that the man who paid me to end this guy's life today probably deserves to die more than the guy that's about to get killed. Ironic, huh? That's none of my business, though. I was taught not to have any opinion about the client or the mark. My only goal is to do the job that I was tasked with. Period, point blank. And that is exactly what I do every single job. Kill with no remorse, fear, or even considerable thought about what I'm about to do, nor what I have done. I'm what the underworld calls a gun for hire. Basically, I am what my job title says. Sounds kind of fucked up, right? You're probably saying, for a person to be in this type of occupation, he must have had some really fucked up shit happen to him in his past. If that is what you're thinking, you would be wrong. September 1994. Jimmy Johnson Jr., aka JJ, was born on July 4, 1980 at Temple University Hospital in North Philadelphia. He was the first child of his parents, Jimmy S.R. and Lavette. Being pregnant with Jimmy Jr. was the cause of the rushed marriage between his mother and father. They had a shotgun wedding. Literally. Big Jimmy was a senior at Villanova University when he met Lavette, who was an 18-year-old freshman at the same university. Jimmy impregnated Lavette the first night they ever second he graduated. Lavette dropped out of school and went back home to her parents afterward. Lavette had her son alone at the hospital months later. She loved her son from the moment she laid eyes on him. She wanted to give her child the world. The fact that she would never be able to tell him who his father was made her depressed. She went back home to her parents after delivering the baby. Lavette laid in bed all day and did nothing. She wouldn't even get out of the bed to feed the baby. The depression had gotten the better of Lavette. Her mother ended up caring for her newborn child. Lavette's father was pissed off about the whole situation. He decided to take matters into his own hands. He hired a private investigator to track down the father of his grandson. The PI came back with information telling him that Jim Johnson could be found down in Patterson, New Jersey. Grandpa took a solo trip down to Patterson, NJ. He was solo, but he wasn't alone. Grandpa had his faithful shotgun he named Killer by his side. Grandpa had used Killer on more than one occasion and definitely did not have a problem using him again if need be. Grandpa went to the address that the private investigator had given him and knocked on the door. When Jimmy answered the door, he was staring directly at a double-barrel shotgun. Grandpa informed Jimmy that he was going to go to Philly and do right by his daughter and grandson. Jimmy did what he was told to. He didn't put up any kind of argument either. Not only did Jimmy do what was right by his new family, he married Lavette and began providing for his family like
That was Guns for Hire by Kareem Rahman. I go a couple more. The question of the night remains, if that one person in there is not me, the question of the night remains, would you risk it all for one more chance with your very first love? The one that makes your heart skip a beat. Would you risk everything that you have right now for another shot with that individual? Person that made your heart skip a beat. Okay, let's do a series. Let's do a series. Alright, this is the Bougie Circle. This is episode 1. It has a listening length of 59 minutes. It's in Kindle at 99 cents, or you can get it free if you have Amazon Prime. And the audiobook has the Audible for free with a monthly trial. $7.95. Alright, this is the description. The Bougie Circle is a series of books about 4 friends / enemies. Let's call them frenemies. Ashley, Dana, Brittany, and Miranda. 4 women with 4 very different personalities. The one thing these women have in common is money. All 4 of the ladies do pretty well financially. Some ladies get their money in different ways than others, but money, or the perception of having money, is the one thing the ladies have in common. You know that saying, birds of a feather flock together? Yeah, that. The Bougie Circle series is broken down into seasons and episodes. The first season has 4 episodes or short stories. A new episode will be released every 10 days or so, and that is a lie. That's a lie. There's only three parts of the joint so far. This joint started in 2014, I believe. But this is the description.
Let's call them frenemies. Ashley, Dina, Brittany, and Miranda. 4 women with 4 very different personalities. The one thing these women have in
I also have a big in-house audience also.
common is money. All 4 of the ladies do pretty well financially. Chapter 1.
Here we
The
go.
Circle.
The Circle.
Before I tell you the story of the Bougie Circle, let me take a moment to tell you about the Bougie Circle. The Bougie Circle is a series of books about 4 friends / enemies. Let's call them frenemies. Ashley, Dina, Brittany, and Miranda. 4 women with 4 very different personalities. The one thing these women have in common is money. All 4 of the ladies do pretty well financially. Some ladies get their money in different ways than others, but the money, or the perception of having money, is the one thing that the ladies have in common. You know that saying, birds of a feather flock together? Yeah, that. The Bougie Circle is different from other books I have written in this way.
I'm sorry.
The Bougie Circle will be listed, not the first author to do this type of nonsense. I just wanted to inform readers of what this series one did, and most importantly, a thriving job that she loved.
Okay.
My bad, Ashley didn't have a job. Ashley had a career. Big difference, and I hope you enjoy. Now to the story. 42-year-old Ashley Jackson had it all. The $1 million home, the $100,000 car, a closet full of name-brand clothes and shoes, the ability to afford luxury shopping sprees and exotic vacations, great friends who shared the same tax bracket she did, and most importantly, a thriving job that she loved. My bad, Ashley didn't have a job. Ashley had a career. Big difference. Ashley's official title was Municipal Judge Ashley Jackson. Ashley was a judge at Philadelphia's Criminal Justice Center.
Yeah, that was my fault because the whole table of contents and everything is inside the free preview, and I don't know how I did that, but I did that. I messed it up. But that was part of it. This is part 2. Episode 2 is called A Forbidden Love. It is 1 hour and 7 minutes listening time. It's 99 cents to buy at Kindle, or you can get it free with Amazon Prime, and the audio book is free with a 30-day membership. This is the description. The ladies land in Mexico to begin their vacation. Everyone is enjoying themselves, but enjoying yourself without any drama. Okay. Everyone is enjoying themselves, but enjoying yourself without any drama involved gets boring to the bougie circle. When the drama erupts, secrets are revealed and feelings are hurt, leaving the ladies to spend more time apart than together. Spending time apart doesn't mean spending time alone, though. The ladies split up and head their separate ways. It doesn't take too long for drama to find the bougie circle. Drama follows these ladies no matter where they go, and they find all of the drama they're looking for and more during their Mexico vacation. Ashley finds herself caught up in a game of right versus wrong when she bumps into a familiar face while having a drink at the bar. Dina was in Mexico in search of a new sugar daddy. The last thing she's looking for is love. But just like most things, you find them when you're not looking for them. Dina is conflicted by the new man she meets in Mexico. Is he Mr. Right or is he Mr. Right now? Miranda goes to Mexico and realizes how much she misses what she left back home in the States. Her trip has been full of wanting to get back home and get back to the love of her life. The love of her life that she's in a rush to get back home to is not her husband and kids. Brittany's cocaine habit starts to spiral out of control. The combination of cocaine and partying leads Brittany to run into a bad situation. Brittany has no idea what type of things she's about to get herself into. One party and one chance meeting threatens to change Brittany's peaceful existence forever. What happens in Mexico doesn't always stay in Mexico. What happens in Mexico doesn't always stay in Mexico. 1 hour and 7 minutes listening time, and here is the sample. I hope it's not like that.
This title is narrated with virtual voice and sand, sun, and sex. Dina laughed as she talked to Ashley on the phone. Dina was halfway joking, but she was halfway serious too. The ladies were leaving for their vacation in Mexico this afternoon. Get it how you live. CNCLLED. That fool is cancelled. With his weird ass. Anyway, you gonna be on time, right? I don't want to hear that running late stuff. I'm in desperate need of some sand, sun, and sex. Dina laughed as she talked to Ashley on the phone. Dina was halfway joking, but she was halfway serious too. The ladies were leaving for their vacation in Mexico this afternoon, and Dina planned to treat Mexico like it was Las Vegas. What happened in Mexico during this vacation was going to stay in Mexico. Unless, of course, she met a millionaire and decided to keep draining him for cash when she got back to the States. The ladies were headed off for a vacation, just like most people did at this time of the year. But unlike most people, the bougie circle were traveling in style. Bug airports and long-ass lines. The ladies were chartering a private jet for their getaway. Dina checked inside her bedroom closet one last time before she zipped up her Louis Vuitton luggage. She wanted to be 100% sure that she'd packed all of the new things she brought yesterday. Dina dropped a cool $15,000 on clothes and shoes for this week-long vacation. She didn't plan on wearing anything twice during this whole trip, including bathing suits and lingerie, and she was pretty certain a few millionaires would be seeing up close and personal during her time in Mexico. "Mom, when you coming back?" Dina jumped a little. She was startled to hear a voice in her room. Dina had no idea Diana was home. She had no idea what time Diana had got in this morning. As Dina stood there thinking about it, she realized she didn't really care either. "What I tell you about sneaking up on me like a damn stalker, and you're out of your damn mind if you think I'm telling you when I'm coming home. You think you're slick, trying to plan a party around my schedule and shit? Not in my damn house, you won't." Diana put on a fake pout. She knew her mother very well. She also knew that her mother was playing right into her game of deflect and attack. Partying was Diana's life. But more than partying, Diana's biggest accomplishment in life was living responsibility and carefree. Dina had played a big part in Diana becoming this way. She knew it.
Don't forget to go to eBay, use Don't the Fuck Do It, all capital. Use code Don't the Fuck Do It and get 50% off selected items.
Knew it and she hated it. But she still continued to contribute to it. Dina grew up an only child. She'd always wanted a sister to share clothes with and do other sisterly things with. Since she had none, Dina settled for friends to fill the sister role. As hard as Dina tried, friends were not the same as family. Dina's life had been one never-ending party since she was 14 years old. Having Diana at 17 did not slow down Dina's partying ways, not even a little bit. Dina passed her child off to her mother to raise while she continued her partying ways. Dina kind of forgot she even had a child, until her mom passed away when Diana was 16 years old.
That was the Bougie Circle, episode 2. I believe I put episode 3 in Audible already. I hope I did. And I did. No, I didn't. Sorry. I did. My bad. That's my bad. But it's a part 3, so that's my bad. It's not. This is the last one. I'm about to try to watch the end of the game. Get something to eat. Let's do bitches, right? It has somebody's name as a T. Okay. The Kindle version of this book is 99 cents to buy. It's free if you have Amazon Prime. Same thing with audiobook, you would have to sign up for a membership, which you can cancel before the 30 days are up and you won't pay a dime. You can listen to all the books you want. And the paperback edition of this book is $10, $9.99. It has a listening time of 3 hours and 32 minutes. And here's the description. This is my last one for the night. But don't forget, if you want, answer the question to tonight's topic. The question of the night was, would you risk it all for one more chance at your very first love? Hypothetically speaking, of course. The description for this book is, what do you call a love triangle that has 4 people in it? A square. That's not a joke. I really don't know what you call it. But I find myself involved in one with 3 women I love with all my heart. You're probably saying, big deal. I've done that 2 or 3 times in my life, right? This is different. Myself, I'm great by the way. Well, Randy, but you know. Tanya, Lily, and Khadijah has had this square going on for the last 30 plus years, and it's still going on to this day. Love is a strange thing. People will rob, kill, steal, cheat, and do many other things, all in the name of love. We did all that. Us four. We've been doing all of that for over 30 years. You know the old saying, so and so knows where all of the dead bodies are buried? Yeah. Well, this is that. And here's a sample from the book. Bitches, right? By Lewis E.
This title is narrated with virtual voice. Stand for Before Christ. This ain't a gospel book, fam. Where I'm from, BC stands for Before Crack. Believe it or not, crack was not always a thing that was around in the hood.
I picked the wild voice for this episode. I'm sorry, this is that AI shit. But here we go.
Chapter 1. Signs of the Times. Tanya. 1984 will always be a special year to me. 1984 was the very last year that was considered BC in my neighborhood. Those 2 letters do not stand for Before Christ. This ain't a gospel book, fam. Where I'm from, BC stands for Before Crack. Believe it or not, crack was not always a thing that was around in the hood. That shit seemed to appear out of the clear blue one day. And the shit spread quicker than coronavirus. Crack users weren't the only thing created when crack cocaine hit the scene. Crack dealers were also created. Don't get it twisted. There were always people in the neighborhood who sold heroin, weed, and other shit. The difference between that and crack was respect. Crack cocaine brought with it an I don't give a fuck attitude about everything. I watched that shit slowly transform people, always for the worst. I became one of those I don't give a fuck people at 13 years old. And I know for a fact, crack changed my life for the worst. But, like I said before,
This guy's name is Ray. His name is Raymond. Ray. With an R.
crack affected practically everyone in the neighborhood's life in a negative way, especially Tanya's. Tanya's favorite aunt Loretta messed around and became one of the early victims of the crack epidemic. Tanya always thought she didn't have family nearby. After about a month and some change on 7th Street, Tanya slowly began to realize that her family was one of the biggest in the neighborhood. Sis had family everywhere, even on 9th Street. Tanya lived with her dad until she was about 10 years old. Mom was absent in the early days of Tanya's life, for one reason or another. Loretta turned 16 right around the time Tanya turned 12. Retta was Tanya's mother's youngest sister, and word around the hood was that Retta had been a wild one since she was Tanya's age. Retta was 16 years old, but she hung out heavy with people in their early 20s. The kind of people who were not so distant from high school age, but had already given up on life. They mostly partied and got high. People had jobs, though. Getting high was
The letter R is the letter R. No one owns the letter R. No one owns the letter L. No one owns the letter T. No one owns any of these letters. You are not the only person in the world whose name starts with that letter.
Mostly a weekend thing for most people, you know? Then came crack. People in their 20s dived in head first, including Loretta. She went downhill quickly. I'm talking about Loretta looked like Beyonce last week. The next week was a different story. Three short weeks after taking her first blast, Loretta was turning tricks for money. Well, crack. All bets are off at that point. There's no more such thing as embarrassment, respect for oneself, or respect for others. At this point, everything is about crack. Even stealing from your
favorite niece, not just stealing, but robbing her blind. Tanya's mom made the mistake of asking her youngest sister to watch Tanya while she went out of town for the weekend. Retta sent Tanya to the store to buy them some groceries with some of the money Tanya's mom left for food and other things while she was gone. Tanya's mom had been gone for less than 10 minutes when Loretta put her plan into action. By the time Tanya got back from the store, Retta had cleaned them out. She had one of her crackhead friends bring a truck around to the house. If you don't know, let me be the first to tell you. With the correct motivation, crack, a crackhead can make fucking worlds move in minutes. That's just what happened. Tanya and her mom's world was cleaned out and gone in a matter of minutes. I can still remember Tanya showing up at her cousin's house on 9th Street with tears in her eyes. Tanya stayed with her cousins for the weekend. I remember Tanya trying to tell me about what was going on. Can't say I was listening or really cared, but I heard her. With Tanya staying only a few houses from mine, the only thing I could think about was opportunity. I was so busy trying to get my grind on every time I was anywhere near Tanya that I showed no emotion, sympathy, or even empathy for her or her current situation. I was not good boyfriend material at all. Tanya ended up moving in with her cousins after her, and her mom had a huge fight about Retta. Tanya's mom.
Alright, that was Bitches, right, by Louis Lease III. Speaking of Louis Lease III, I am Louis Lease III, and this is the Positive Network family. I am signing off for tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. The family.